Okay, good morning to all of you. So, in this week, we are finishing our topic. I am taking the last point of this our topic. One more lecture is there, right? So, last system is the mechanical tissue system. So, already we have seen the cholenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem functions, and the mechanical tissues. So in this one today we are observing this point about the mechanical tissue system. So in the mechanical we have seen the vascular tissue system, epidermal tissue system, right? And now in mechanical tissue system, so what is the tissue? Already we are knowing. So tissue is a group of cells having the similar origin, structure, and the functions. For example, parenchyma, cholenchyma, etc. So you are observing these cells are the specific shape and the size. Some cells are the green in nature, so they contain the chlorophyll. The properties of plant tissue are the most of the plant parts tissues, they are the dead cells, because the tissue provides the mechanical strength to the plant, and the cells of some tissues are the live. So therefore here we are observing there is having the what is the meaning of mechanical tissue system. So these tissues provide the support, and the cells are of different types. For example, parenchyma cells, then cholenchyma, sclerenchyma. So right, so parenchyma are thin-walled cells that are basically isodiametric in function, and the functions for the metabolism. Metabolism, that is the they are generally with the chlorophyll content and this one. But here this mechanical tissue system generally it helps for the storage of the food material. The cholenchyma cells are the irregular primary wall thickenings, and they function for the plasticity, that is the bending property is there. The sclerenchyma function for the elasticity, bending property, and have the thick walled cells for the two types due to the fibers which are the short in length, and the sclerites which are the longer in the length. So remember about the sclerenchyma. Then in the simple permanent tissue system, you are observing here these three types of cells: parenchyma, cholenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So these plant cells basically they are having of the different in the shape and the size. Just always sclerenchyma gets the pink in color due to the saponin, and therefore you see this diagram also. Then in the parenchyma cells there are four types are there. Parenchyma, it is for the exchange or for the aeration, right? So it is generally present in the hydrophytes. Then chlorenchyma, it contains the chloroplast. For example, in palisade layer the columnar cells are present. Palisade is present in the mesophyll of the leaf, and the cells are compact. Then spongy layer, these are circular in the structure. Then meristematic parenchyma generally present at the apex for the cell division. Already we have seen the meristematic tissue system, right? And the storage parenchyma, it helps in the suppose the leaf or the storage tissue is there. So here you are observing the parenchyma character. So it is kind of parenchyma seen in the hydrophytes are there. So the cells are loosely packed with thin-walled and intercellular spaces are present. Some parenchyma cells contain chlorophyll, so it is called as the chlorenchyma. You are observing this photograph of the chlorenchyma. Green cells are there. Then they are commonly seen in the leaves, right, and helps in the photosynthesis. So we have to also write the functions of each tissue. Then parenchyma with air cavities, commonly in it is the character of hydrophytes are there. Then second tissue is there, parenchyma. So para means beside, and chyma means in filling, to loose or the unpacked, right? So it is showing the presence of bulk of substance, and generally we are knowing in the plants the cells are the these cells are the thin walled unspecialized there is no specific character, and generally intercellular spaces they are present in between these parenchyma cells. So, or in the group of cells like the tissue is there. So therefore, if it shows the presence of chlorophyll, it is called as the chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, the large air cavities are present in the parenchyma. So this is the one character. Secondly, this parenchyma is the most common plant tissue, and relatively this they shows the unspecialized, commonly seen in the leaves, flowers, or the fruits of the some woody plants are there. So therefore, it is the one character, and the most important function of these cells are there: the storage of the food, that is the starch, and the water, and the intercellular spaces permit the gaseous exchange is there. So you remember about this parenchyma. So in parenchyma, arenchyma already we have seen, but some important characters are there. So in the roots, generally, so or the shoot part is there, so they shows the large air filled cavities are there. So as there is a exchange of the oxygen and ethylene between the plant parts, therefore the water and the generally gets transported to the above region, right? Then as in the roots, commonly it is showing the anaerobic condition generally reported by the some scientists like the Visser in 1997, and there are it is due to the adaptive nature. Adaptive, that is the as per the condition of this plant. So this is about parenchyma and arenchyma. Then second tissue is there our cholenchyma. So you observe these cells. How are the cells? So cells wall, they are generally looks like the thick. So tissue it shows the less intercellular spaces, and generally there is the having the cells are thick at the corner. Then the flexibility is due to the this type of the condition, and it is tolerated by the plants. Then you are observe the magnified these cholenchyma cells are there. They are not specific. So here the one important character is there, and it gives mechanical support to the plant body. The chlorenchyma sometimes it looks like the parenchyma cells contain the chloroplast, and these parenchyma cells they show function for the photosynthesis. So these parenchyma cells generally it is with that of the chlorophyll, and therefore the chloroplast plays the or chlorophyll plays the important role. In Greek, the cholenchyma means the gum, and the enchyma means the infusion. So therefore, as it is to be supposed as a living tissue in the plant, and generally with that of the cellulose and the pectin is there, and it generally helps or gives the tensile strength to the plant, and therefore generally it is generally present in the hypodermis, so below the epidermis. It is absent in the monocots, so present in the dicotyledon plants are there, which gives the provide the mechanical support, elasticity, and the tensile strength is there. So just you remember their functions are there. So first one parenchyma, second one cholenchyma. Then our third one is there sclerenchyma. So how is the structure? So scleren means the hard, and the enchyma means the infusion. So this tissue it is a dead tissue. Thick walled cells are there. It is with content of lignin. So it is due to the lignin deposition it becomes strong and rigid, and therefore it is commonly seen particularly below the hypodermis, then in the pericycle. So pericycle is present covering to that of the this vascular bundles are there. So mainly lignin protein in the coconut generally or almond is there, so it gives the endocarp formation, right? Then secondly there is a lignified tissue present in the center pith also, and therefore these are called as the sclerites are there. So sclerenchyma is generally thick walled cells with lignin content. Then types of plant tissues already we have seen, but see the how you can draw the diagram. So parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, cell walls are there, and sclerenchyma tissue with the lignin content, and some thick walled cells are present. So these are called as the sclerenchyma cells of the tissue is there. Then in the complex permanent tissue, these two types of tissue commonly in vascular bundle, so xylem and phloem is present. So xylem always shows with that of these types of the here you are observing vessels are there. Some are the broad, and the tracheids are there. They are the tapering at the end, and double walled are there. Whereas phloem are there, they show the sieve elements and the fibers are there. So in this one, so mainly our xylem cells are the sclerenchymatous. So it consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So we are also observing the it in the functions of this mechanical tissue. So you see the xylem vessels, tracheids, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. So it is the LS. Then in the tracheids are there. So tracheids and vessels generally helps to transport the water and the minerals from root to the all parts of the plants are there. And xylem parenchyma store the food and the fiber which help for the support. So just you remember this diagram about the vessel. Arrows are there, green arrow, they are going above. So one way only transport is there. There is no end walls between the cells are there. So it is the character for the xylem cells are there. So xylem is acting as a conducting tissue, water conducting, and the tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers cells are present in the secondary xylem. Then axial and the lateral sideward direction, the transport of the this water and mineral is there. The transpiration generally is the transfer of transpiration. So from root the leaf is there. So water potential through the cohesion and adhesion type of the property. Our second tissue is the phloem. So phloem consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem, parenchyma and phloem fibers. Right. So just you have to remember this one diagram for the remembering. So see the nature of sieve plate, sieve tube, then phloem, parenchyma and the companion cells are there. In this particularly the sieve tubes and the companion cells, the leaves in the leaves already they are showing. So here we should compare with that of the sieve plate, then sieve tube, and the how is the structure in the leaves about the phloem structure is there. Then main function of this, it is also acting as a conducting tissue. So phloem, it is for the food conduction, and sieve tube generally they shows the organelle and the function of the transport. Companion cells are there, they transfer the cell and the function for metabolic process are there, right? So when we are observing the TS of any stem is there, so it looks like this one. Position of xylem is always inside and phloem is the outer side. In the other diagram, in the root, they are at different position. The radial vascular bundles are there. Already we have seen types of vascular bundles are there. Then in short, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So cell shape, parenchyma shows isodiametric, whereas these collenchyma is circular oval and the sclerenchyma are the variable in the shape and the size. Cell wall, firstly in parenchyma thin cellulosic, in collenchyma it is uneven thickening, and in the sclerenchyma double thickening is there, so it is called as the lignified due to that. Then cytoplasm in first and last parenchyma and sclerenchyma is absent, only it is present in collenchyma cytoplasm. Nucleus generally present in the first two and absent in this sclerenchyma. Then vacuoles are there. So large vacuole is present in parenchyma, less in the this cholenchyma, and absent in the sclerenchyma. These cells parenchyma generally occurs in the tissue packing, soft tissue of the plant, pith, cortex, medullary. Cholenchyma observed in the epidermis, below the epidermis in monocot, and the roots are there. And in dicot, sclerenchyma is present in secondary xylem. So here transport of the this one way only transport, it is seen in the xylem vessels, water and minerals, and there are no end walls and thick walls generally with lignin. Secondly, the water and food is the two direction, upward and downward, and cells have the end walls with the perforation. This is the difference in xylem vessels and the phloem vessels are there. So this is our second last lecture. So you go through it properly. Thanks to all.